Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Today, after the activity of mid-semester for class 12, in this morning, we are going to start for the next material that we are going to learn. For this material, we are going to talk about news item. This kind of text is like the news in the television, in newspaper, magazine, and etc. But the news item text is talking about the up-to-date and actual news, and it is happening in daily event and giving us about the time and place explanations and give us the core of the information. So let me show you the definition, characteristic, the purposes, the example of news item. Okay, here it is the definitions of news item. Okay, news item is a written or a short text that has the function to give information. Then the information is up-to-date and actual information that talk about the event or daily event that is appropriate to inform or important information, and it is appropriate, fixed, or important to deliver as the information or as the news to the people. So the news item is the up-to-date or actual news, and it is important to deliver to the people. Okay. What for? The next question that maybe there is in your mind. What for we learn news item text? It is the purposes that why do we have to learn news item as the students. News item is kind of text that inform the reader or the listener about the news that talk about the event or daily event that appropriate or good to be delivered, or it is important news and could be delivered to the people about the up-to-date and actual news. By delivering the news to the people or the reader or the listener will get the new information and valid information. Why do I say the news item is valid information? Because the news item supported by the time and the place, the event occurring and place and the event occurring time. So it is so clear as the information for the people. Let me show you the characteristics of a news item. The characteristics of news item is short text, short text. It is short information Why do I say the news item is short information? Because by the title that is consists in the news item, the reader can understand about the news that will be delivered to the reader. Yeah. So even though news item is short text or short news, and it is abbreviation news, but by reading the title, the reader will get the news item. Okay. The characteristic of it, the sentences that used by the writer of news item using action verbs. Yeah, what is action verbs? Action verbs is the verbs that relate to the activities that up to date and actual. Yeah. And the next, or the other explanation, action verb is a verb that act on the spot or on spot time or on the spot place. Okay, and the next, the characteristics of it is the news item using tenses of simple past. Using tenses of simple past. Why? Because when we want to inform the news, so the tenses or the news or the information, of course, had been done in the past time. So that the tenses that should be used by the writer is simple past, because talking about the past time. And the next characteristic is uh, using saying verbs. Saying verb means when the news that will be delivered, of course, the information or the source should be from the people, from the expert. So when the person asking about the news to the expert, so the conversation, of course, in the present continuous time or in the spot time. For example, when the person asks something to the expert, for example, question, what is your opinion about the event? So the expert will answer by the simple present or present continuous to explain about the question that deliver from someone. So should use saying verbs. Okay. The next, what is the characteristics of the news item? I said before that news item because deliver the news, so it has the explanation of time, of place, and events. Of course, if there is no event, there is no time and place explanation, because news item can be mentioned as the valid news if they are time, place, and event that explain about the news. Okay. Okay, next, how to write it down when we want to make the news item as the students. Here there are the structure or the generic structure that should be available on the news item. The first, you have to write down the title or the headlines about the news that you are going to deliver. Yeah. The first time that you have to use is the headlines of title. the characteristic of title should describe about the news. So I said before, when someone has a short time to read the news item, so by reading the title or headlines, he can understand about the news that will be read by him. Okay. The next, it must be there is main event. Yeah, main event. Main event or newsworthy event. This is the core of the event that must be available on news item. The next unit structure is about background event or elaborations. I mean, why the event occurring. So you have to give the background about the news or the event. So that is the part of the palette data when you want to get the palette information. It must be there is the background event. By data we can get the palette news, and it is acceptable as the news. Okay. The next, it must be there is the source. Yeah, because source is the most important part of the generic structure, because when someone want to believe the news, so it should be there is the source. Yeah, the source it various, a lot of kind of source. It could be the information from the expert, yeah, or it could be the information from the event, or it could be the explanation from the witness, or it could be the statement from some people or some organization that has the right to give the opinion about the event. So that is part of the source or the sources that can be taken by us as the students to make the news item in order to make it valid news item. Okay, I think enough for our activity, but before closing, I'm going to show you the example of it. Here it is, the example of news item. This is the first paragraph about the news item. This is the second, the third, and the fourth. Why do I give you the example like this? In order to make it clear that the first paragraph, it's talking about main event. Yeah, it's talking about main events. And the second and the third is talking about background or elaboration of the event. And the fourth is talking about the sources. So maybe there is the question from your mind, should we write down the news item for paragraph? No, it's depend on you. But the important thing, the news item should be available main events, background, event, and sources. The sources could be chosen by you. It may be only the opinions of the expert, or maybe the statement of the organization that relate to the events or the other things. I think enough for our activity talking about news item. I hope you understand about. If you don't understand yet about the news item material, you may read the news item through Google site, and I hope you will understand about. Thank you. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.